Hello and welcome back to ComputerCraft. Now what we're going to do today is going to look at relays, and this is going to be a system in place. So let's just define a system in place, and then I'll get to coding it because it's fairly substantial thing to do here. So basically what's going to go on is the relay is going to automatically build a tree network that's going to go back to the main console. And the point of this is there's going to be the fewest number of hops possible. So you don't obviously want kind of redundancy there. So we're going to sort of look to get, lots of turtles out. So, I mean, this is really where the distinction between turtles and computers comes into play. Because the turtles obviously will be doing a lot of work. And then when we're going back to the main console, which will be a computer, PC. And yeah, so the turtles are going to be connecting using the fewest hops to communicate to the main console. And yeah, and so they're going to be going to the console, and it's going to be like a message route through the consoles. And there'll be we'll define certain things in a minute. And yeah, so basically it's going to be a tree system, and a system is going to be last in, first out. So I'll briefly describe the tree quickly, just so yeah. Basically, if you've got like a turtle, and say that turtle is like one. Once it goes off, it's going with like, I don't know, like the header or something of one. Then once it goes to like a relay, and obviously there's this whole system that I just explained. Once it goes to relay, so say the turtle is 1, yeah, and then you've got a relay which is like 4 and 7. All right. So the first one it gets is number 4. So it gets number 4. That gets appended on. So that's going to be 1, then 4. All right. So it gets 4, and then boom, it's off to the next one, and then it goes to like, and then so it gets there. And then it's gonna get there. When it gets there, it's gonna say, "Oh, it's got 1 and 4. I'm gonna put on a 7 now." And then it's gonna send it off. And then eventually, yeah, it's gonna get. So pretend that that's the step it gets to the console. And the console is 0. So it's gonna get to 0. It's gonna be 1, 4, 7. And what's gonna happen then is then it's gonna be. It's gonna. I mean, all this stuff that's been going on. I've been saying it's basically an insertion, right? So appending or insertion, depending on how you're looking at it, from a sort of, from a code position, or just, from, just a talking position. So then it's going to be a disjoin or removal. So we've got 1, 4, 7, right? Then we're going to do its last in, first out. So basically, as it goes back, it's going to go. So it goes like 1, and then it goes 1, 4, then it goes 1, 4, 7. But then as it goes back, it's going to go to 1, 4, and then 1. All right. So that's how it's going to work. So basically, the console is going to take off the last one, but it's going to send it before it actually does that. Yeah, I think that's the way to explain it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one. But basically, yeah, as it goes back, I mean, going back is probably more complicated, actually, I suppose. But obviously, if it's going back, if it's at 147, right, and it's the console, then it can't send it to 7 before it's, it can't like remove the 7 before it's sent it, right? So it must have sent it before. So it might, yeah. It must have, yeah. I mean, it must have sent it, and then it's removed it, and that's probably how it works, isn't it? Like, if you've got like 147, right, and it's at 0 at the console 0, then you'd probably need to think like, you probably need to say, right, I'm gonna send it to 7, and then remove it, and in that way, the same thing can happen at the relay. So it's at 1, 4, and then I send it to 1, which will be the turtle. But obviously, the relays are actually computers, but the turtle is obviously a turtle. Anyway, so I think I pretty much explained what I wanted to talk about. yeah, there was something in the OS API that I wanted to talk about, but actually I think that's, yeah, it's actually in here anyway. I did think about doing it a different way, but not to be, I guess. All right then, so let's get on with this. I'll try and explain as much as I can during it, but I don't know. It's one of those things really that like it's not hugely. I mean, I don't know. It's probably could explain it, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff is on it. I probably could explain it more, but we'll see. We'll see. I might explain it through the various additional kind of things here, if that's what I want to do. But yeah, I mean, one thing I can explain. So I'll explain. Just going to write out the beginning bit here, and this is what I was just mentioning. If you do get computer ID, it's a bit like get label. Yeah, and I think there's actually two of them. I looked at this bit on the the main site. I think there's actually two of them, but they seem to redirect to the same page. So it must be the same thing. I think there seems to be a sort of way in it, like there's like with forward and forwards meaning the same thing. I think there's a few things like that in ComputerCraft that give a little bit, which is kind of good actually, I guess. So you can put in different ways of saying the same thing. All right, it was one other thing maybe. Yeah. So obviously you can tell by the curly braces there. We've got more stuff in there. It's like an array or whatever. Yeah, because with all this stuff you've got curly braces and square brackets as well. Square brackets, I suppose, normally are going on about an actual element. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I did. What was the other one I did? Oh, what was that one? Yeah, var args. Yeah, whenever you see args, there's some sort of arguments in an array or something. So this is the main thing here, and this is actually going to be referenced in the console as well. The console is actually 0, but it's not actually related to the ID, so that's an important point as well. Fuck. I think it's this. Yeah, I mean, I might make some errors here, but sort it all out. Yeah, I need to actually better if I change it a little here, innit? All right, so yeah, so this is basically what I was just talking about, really. All right, so basically, if it's at the console, yeah, then it's obviously at the stage, right? And you can see get different colors there. It's obviously at the stage, right, where it's at the console. So we need to be thinking about removing, because it's coming in with a big stream of numbers there. So it needs to go back to the other ones. So just 1 second. All right. What was the next bit then? Else, and we got, yeah. I knew I should pull that crap in. And yeah. All right. So basically, what's going on there is like, yeah. If it's a obviously, if it's at console, it's time to remove. If it's away from the console, it's time to insert to get the nearest. But obviously, we haven't actually said how we're actually going to get that, and that bit comes actually a bit later. And yeah, and a lot of reason why it's all like this is because RedNet is like Red Power, and like Red Power is all like this. If you watch some of my yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah, Red Power is a bit like this basically. Well, it's not a bit like this. It's exactly like this, because that's written in a fourth, of course. All right. Okay, we bust out the curly braces there. And to from message root, yeah. Okay, so there we go. Yeah. Two armbar, similar to toString in Java. Well, not really. Well, it is. Well, it is actually similar in a certain sense. All right. All right. So then we just do the fairly standard stuff. I've actually got the old console program from before open in the other. Oh, actually, I haven't got it open. But yeah, I've got it here anyway. I'm gonna talk about the changes to that. All right. So now we're gonna basically so here's the sort of like accessor, I suppose. So put that in. Okay, so yeah, there's a few things actually. I'll just take a little break. A few things I wanted to mention actually just at this juncture. The first thing is that I used the square brackets with when I was specifying when in the wall program when I specify how big the wall was supposed to be. And it's actually a similar sort of thing here. Now, there's a few more things actually. Also, I'd just like to very briefly just talk about this thing that I've actually just been using here to textutils.serialize. I've taken a look at the API and what this actually means. And basically what it does is it converts the object to a string that can be sent over RedNet and then converted back into a copy of object. So basically, yeah, if there's an object which is obviously going to have multiple things in it, then it will, and then what it can do is it will just turn it to a string, and then that way it can easily be sent over. And then later on, it can be used, and then using unserialized, it can be, it can then be, put back into the program. And yeah, interestingly, it seems this RedNet stuff it's changed quite a lot through the versions. I'll probably at some point look through all the version changes, but apparently at the beginning every bit was converted to a redstone signal that lasted 0.1 seconds. But apparently that took a long time for everything to work. And the next thing I'm going to talk about, which I'm not actually quite there yet, but to be honest, I'm not a huge amount away really. Have I got there yet? Where am I at? Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up really soon, actually. So I may as well talk about it now. And that way, is this os.pull event? There's actually two types of os.pull event. One is more advanced, called os.pull event raw, and there's also a way to queue these things. And what it does is it blocks until the computer receives an event, or if target event is specified, will block until an instance of target event occurs. os.pull event brackets target event close brackets returns the event and parameters. If a target event is specified, computer will not break for any other event. So yeah, it's this whole pull and push mentality, isn't it? Yeah, so it will just not do anything really until the target event occurs, and when it does, it will kick into action. That's what that's trying to say. And there is a more advanced one called pull event raw, but yeah, I'm not going to look at that because I don't think I really need that. So yeah, anyway, let's just get on with doing this, and I'll do the other one as well. And yeah, but I think I've actually explained quite a lot of what's going on here really now. So yeah, so yeah, this is just a placeholder. All right. Okay. I need to check that I've got the right number here. No, one more. No, I have got the right number. Wait, do I? Yeah, 2. There's 2 there. And then 2 there. Yep. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to this bit now. Now we move on to the actual events, and basically, yeah. So yeah, so basically, this is to do with what actually goes in the actual. This is like the way to tell how to, you know, decompile well, I'm not sure I should use that word. Maybe I'd just say analyze, you know, the different things in the array. I wonder if I should leave a gap there. I think you need a gap. This is something I always think about, these gaps. Is it like that? Well, like I say, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about these things now. Okay. So as you can see, it's got the stuff. And it's time to unserialize, like I just spoken about earlier. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so let's just put all these in. Okay, so there we go. So that should be that. And I think yeah, that looks fine. Okay, next bit. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So this bit basically is how you know. Obviously, I mentioned before about the tree structure, but the tree structure has to be, you know, is using these things, these hops. Obviously, you don't want that happening because that's a waste of fucking time. Okay, it's just okay. Okay, and that's what it's the default is 9999, but obviously it's going to be less. It's just a placeholder. Okay, and then obviously that will set it as apparent if it's the less. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So that's that bit. Yeah. All right, looks like it. Okay. All right. Let's do the else if. Similar to what happened with the factor thing, actually. That was another earlier program. I might look it up at some point. I'll probably mention it at some point a bit later, either in this episode or a following one. Okay, so this is I mentioned the queue event. Obviously, yeah, I've actually gone through quite a lot of the OS API. I've looked at a lot of the APIs. There's there's a bit API which can do all your sort of bitwise operations. That's pretty cool. And yeah, and there's certain APIs change the background color of the advanced monitors and stuff like that. I think actually, I'm not sure, but I think you can actually do like yeah, you can do more. You can do a lot more with the advanced monitors in terms of colors and making games, stuff like that. All this stuff, this and the console, are going to go with with all the what's it, the PC stuff. There's not much in there. There's I think there's an adventure game and stuff, and there's a couple of others. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now this is going to contain all the stuff. So yeah, let's try and get it. Okay. All right. So we're going to work out where it's going, and then we're going to take all this stuff and convert it to a string. Because okay. For this, yeah, this is where it gets interesting. Okay. Wow, it's a long fucking line. Might be alright. Oh yeah, that's cool, isn't it? It goes a different colour. Because I always look for that stuff. Hey, what happens if you go on this one? Yeah, it does it the other way around as well. That's cool. I guess not really. To be honest, there's probably loads of stuff like this. I have to look into this stuff. I never even realised this program was like was so good. I always try to mess around with other ones, but it does seem like it does everything. I mean, I do like the support for Lua as well. That's cool. And to be honest, a lot of the other languages on it are quite cool as well. So, so I may try some other ones out. Let's see. Problem with a lot of the big languages, though, they've got so many fucking libraries. It's just a bit, just like, what the fuck. Yeah, I don't know why they have all these libraries. I mean, I do know why, but it's just it becomes very, like annoying to deal with all those fucking libraries. And it's not really. It actually makes the thing less like interesting. That's the thing. As soon as the libraries increase, it's the thing. It's like anything, isn't it? It's like games as well. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there for this. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that would do it. I may have. Yeah, I think that will do it. So yeah, I'm going to move on to so I'm going to do the console, and then I'm going to go back to Minecraft and try and do a bit of a test on it all. So I will. Yeah, I'll go to console time then. Yeah. All right, so this is what the console was. Wow, is it really just that? I thought I had more than that in it. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I can kind of just. Well, it's going to need more than this. Okay, so just activate it. Okay, and we'll use the okay. Okie dokie. Obviously, it doesn't actually need to do anything apart from remove stuff because it's at 0. Yeah, you can see actually what I was saying earlier. You send it, and then it removes. So it's pretty, I mean, it's kind of had to be. I don't know why I really mentioned it, but yeah. Serialization. Yeah. Maybe I can just put it on the other side. That looks alright. Let me just check this. I'll use this bracket thing. Yep. Yeah, it's cool that. Yeah, I'll have to use that more often. Yeah, while true D. I don't think that's the way to do it, really. That's not. Yeah, this bit I have to change. But yeah, I mean, it's handy. You can just do this sort of stuff and just. Wow. All right, let's. Yeah, yeah. All right. No, I've got it right. Yeah. Yeah, you see, it blocks until it gets all this stuff. Because there's no point. It's not gonna. Because otherwise, it'll try and it would probably try and do something that had, null values in it or something, nil values in it rather. Alrighty. All right, and as I mentioned before, yeah, it's not. It's not dependent on the actual computer ID. Could be though. I mean, it could be. Yeah, it probably would actually be better to do it like that. But and yeah. So what I'm going to do, I think, I'm going to. Well, I'm not going to leave that there. How did that if get there? Yeah, it should be there. Don't know how it got there. Anyway, all right. That's pretty bit over the top of that. All right. So yeah, I think I'm going to try and put all this in and see what happens. So it's back to Minecraft. Okay, so we're back in Minecraft, and yeah, what was I going to do? As you can see, we've got the console here. This is now the console. Obviously, it wasn't the case before, but it is now. So this is now the console. We'll be looking at some of the advanced features here. If we run the relay, see, it says requesting route 3 received from 3, and that does that. So it looks like the relay is working. Requesting route 3 received. What was the was it? Is it this? Yeah, it seems to be sending stuff to itself. Yeah, well, I'm gonna just I don't know. I might just look into this next time.